Okay, so good day, guys. This is our last topic for our course on sports and exercise psychology. Um, this has to do with social psychology and psychobiology of sports and exercise. So you will find out that in this topic, um, we bring in the concept of sports and exercise as social activities. Okay, so that means to say that um, we we need to relate with, for instance, our teammates, if we are into team sports, or even if you are into individual sports, you still have to relate with your coaches or with your opponents. So we will therefore look into concepts like social influence, social facilitation, okay? Um, like, for instance, the presence of um, bystanders or audience, no? Yung meron tayong tinatawag na audience effect, no? So, kapag nakipag-compete kayo, meron at merong presensya ng mga girowers, kung napakitawit niya, like those who would watch the competition. And do these spectators or audience, no, have impact on your performance? No, are you motivated? For example, if in the audience you see your loved one, your family cheering you up, or expecting that you would display a good fight, no? So things like this. In here, we will be looking into some um, points also on team cohesion. Okay, especially so that as coaches, no, more likely um, siguro meron at merong chance na you will coach in team sports, no? So how could you, for example, ensure that your athletes, no, would really manifest teamwork, no, and in essence would be cooperative and would um, work towards, no, the goal of the team. So these are the very points we will be discussing in this particular topic. Okay. So we have, of course, to understand what it meant by social psychology. You are not psychology majors, but the concept of social psychology is very simple, no? The very fact that we are social beings, no? Meaning to say, at birth, meron at merong presensya ng ibang tao, no? Um, we coexist with others, for others, no? And social psychology therefore looks into the influence of others' thoughts, feelings, or even reactions, no? Um, as to that of yours. So, social psychology technically is the scientific study of how people think about each other, influence each other, and relate to one another. So, I wanted to underscore three important concepts when we talk about social psychology. We have social thinking or cognition. Okay? How we perceive ourselves and others, what we believe, the judgments we make, and our attitudes. Okay? You may not be so aware, but these are actually being influenced by the presence of other people in our lives. Ang tingin natin sa ating sarili at ang tingin natin sa iba ay kadalasang epekto ng ah, kung paano tayo nakikirelate sa ibang tao, kung paano ang um, reaction ng ibang tao sa'yo, no? Like how we see ourselves um, is partly being influenced by how others see us, no? So, babalik at babalik tayo doon sa um, meron kasing mga ano ba yan, psychological concepts, no? Like when we, for instance, um, are being observed by others, no? Are there instances by which you modify your behavior or even your actions? So ito pa lang ay um, konkretong ebidensya na ang tingin sa'yo ng iba o kung paano ka ginajudge ng iba ay merong impact sa iyong behavior at sa iyong disposition. Okay? So, um, the concept here is babalik tayo doon sa ano bang theory yon na na-discuss nyo sa inyong prof ed subjects, no? Um, social learning, no? Social learning theory, okay? So we have also the concept of social influence, no? And to here we bring in the culture, no? Na nakagisnan natin yung mga beliefs, traditions, and practices na meron tayo. The pressure to conform, no? Is it not that when we are with group or when we are in the community, in a group of people, for example, there is an expectation that we comply with the norm and hence we conform with the standard behavior. Also, we obey, we make it sure that we manifest behaviors which are um, expected, no, by the group or by the community. No, concept also like persuasion and um, the existence of groups and teams. No? Kapag nasa isang grupo tayo, meron at merong influence ang mga ibang tao sa atin, sa ating mga desisyon, sa ating pananamit, kahit nga sa ating mga kinakain, di ba kung minsan kapag nasa isang grupo tayo ng barkada natin, for example, kapag kung ano ang cravings ng majority, nai-influence din tayo, nagiging craving din natin. No? Kaya nga siguro dito papasok yung sabi nila, yung adage, yung kasabihan na tell me who your friends are and I will tell you who you are. Because it seems that the culture that perpetuates the group, no, would be the same culture that shapes you. Okay? So, yung concept ng influence ng mga taong nakapaligid sa'yo. Okay? And another would be social relations. No? Social relations. Sabi ko nga kanina, we coexist with others and hence, we cannot deny the fact that 24/7 pa nga kung minsan, no? We relate with people around us, with our family members, with our peers, with our colleagues at work, no? With our classmates in school, okay? And therefore, when we relate with people around us, there can be possibilities of what? Positive and negative interpersonal relations, no? And in relating with others, no, we cannot also help but to have some prejudices, yung mga negative na pananaw natin, no, sa mga um, taong nakakasalamuhan natin. No? Lalong-lalo na kapag meron tayong negatibong karanasan sa taong yan. Diba? Nagkakaroon tayo ng prejudices. No? Nililabel natin sila. No? Like, ano ba? Ano bang mga label natin? Ah, so, kayo, kasi depende sa klase ng interpersonal relations na na-build. Okay? So, kung positive ang social relations mo, then most likely, positibo din ang ah, disposition mo sa mga taong nasa paligid mo. Okay? So, we also have what is the connection of social psychology to sports and exercise. So it says here that it helps athletes to understand how they are influenced and informed. Okay? Remember that there is what we call coachee relationship, coach athlete relationship. So how is the coach um, be in control, no? When I say control, it's not the kind of control that would impair, no, the athlete. So it's more of how could the coach influence the athlete in such a way that when goals are set, the athlete would be able to um what do you call that? Sorry, ngayon ko lang napansin na hindi pala na-count yung video. That the athlete would be able to follow or comply, or that the coach is able to persuade the athlete, no, to do these strategies, or most likely to follow this training program. Okay. So the same is true when what is involved um is a team. No? How can each of the members of the team influence each other? Okay? In such a way that they would be cooperative and they would be working towards the goal of the team. So hindi sila magsasapawan dahil hindi naman sila ang magkakakompete. Kumbaga, paano sila magtutulungan para maisakatuparan nila yung pagkapanalo dahil natural yun naman ang aim ng kanilang team. Okay? Involvement in sports and exercise. So how about exercise? Ganon din po. Kapag ikaw ay nag-enroll sa isang exercise program, paano yung coach, paano ka mamomotivate ng coach na gawin at isakatuparan yung exercise program. So this speaks of influence. Okay? Involvement in sports and exercise takes place within a social context. No? As I mentioned, these are social activities. Therefore, they can strongly people around us, no, especially those whom we interact with relative to our sports and exercise activities, no, could strongly influence the psychological outcomes of this involvement. Okay, so again, we bring in motivation, influence, even how we think about these people whom we work with, no? In a team, for example, the members of the team, what do they think about their team members, no? Meron bang mga um, stereotyping kaya sa bawat members ng team? Baka mamaya sila-sila din pala merong mga negative um, stereotyping ng kanilang mga kasama. Kaya hindi rin maganda ang kanilang working relationship. Kaya hindi nyo sila makikitaan ng teamwork or cohesion na pinaka ingredient para mag-succeed yung team. Kung halimbawa sa sports yan, para manalo sana sila. No? So it is in this line where social psychology plays a vital role in the field of sports and exercise. Okay, now we also have the concepts of social influence and facilitation. Okay? So, sports and exercise participation, as we have mentioned earlier, occur within a social framework. So, the social environment encompassing participation can have considerable influence on various psychosocial dimensions, even including concepts like stress and anxiety. No? Kasi pwedeng ang source ng stress natin ay hindi yung activity, kundi yung mga taong nakapaligid sa atin. Halimbawa, kay Coach Chi, pwedeng ang source ng stress niya o ng anxiety niya ay si Coach. Okay, bakit? Kasi siguro the coach would be more o output or outcome oriented. Medyo mataas siguro ang expectation niya, no? Ayaw niya ng natatalo siya, no? Ayaw niya ng nalalamangan siya. Kaya kung yun ang orientation ng coach, natural, yung coachee would eventually have some sort of issues relative to siguro stress and anxiety, no? Because baka yung near sight of the coach pa lang ayan na, ah, ang makikita lang niya ay yung, yan yung coach ko na um, gusto lang niya ako kapag nananalo ako, no? At laging ang emphasis niya ay kailangang manalo, no? So, kumbaga, 'di ba, kahit nga sa pag-aaral nyo kapag mataas ang expectation ng parents nyo at there's too much pressure on you, it does not it's not actually healthy because it triggers stress and anxiety. Same is true with self-perception, no? So kapag ang coach mo ay um, um, I mean, na-feel mo na in spite or despite of the outcome of your competitions, the coach support, no, and high regard of you, no, is intact or is still there, then meron siyang impact sa iyong self-perception. Kakaroon ka ng pananaw na okay, so kahit ano ang ah, outcome ng aking ah, mga ginagawa, no, I still believe that I am uh, capable of what? Siguro doing good in your competition no matter what the outcome is. Kasi yun yung conditioning mo doon sa coach. No? So yung pananaw mo sa kung sino ka at sa kung anong kaya mong gawin, nakadepende rin sa kung ano ang pananaw ng iba sa'yo. Halimbawa, yung pananaw ng coach mo. Okay? Your disposition to burn out and even injury management and performance. So, dito medyo ipasok natin yung psychobiology of sports and exercise, no? Kasi nabanggit natin na ang um, ang sports hindi natin maiiwasan diyan ang injury, 'di ba? So, ang injury ay hindi lang physical, no? I mean, much of the unseen effects of injury is the psychological aspect, no? Kung minsan kaya nato-traumatize, no? Meron bang mga ganon? Yung mga talagang um, uh, tawag dyan, those who were able to encounter or those who have encountered serious injuries in relation to their to the sports they play, no? Kung minsan natotrauma kapag naglalaro, medyo merong impact, no, sa klase ng laro na binibigay natin. Okay? Then we also have social facilitation. It's a psychological concept relating to the tendency for the presence of others to improve a person's performance on a task. This is not new to you. In fact, I expounded on this concept during prelims. We have the concrete example through the experiment conducted by Norman Triplett, yung cycling, no, cyclists, no, what happens to the performance of cyclists? Do they cycle faster when they cycle alone or when they cycle with co-cyclists, no? And according to Norman Triplett, who espoused the theory on social facilitation, no? Sabi niya, mas na-motivate at mas nagiging aroused tayo kapag alam natin na nakiki-compete tayo kapag alam natin halimbawa na um, tawag diyan, merong presence ng iba, no? So there is an improvement in performance which is induced by the real, implied, or imagined presence of others. So ito papasok natin yung Pygmalion effect na sinasabi nila, no? Nagkakaroon tayo ng ah, improved performance kapag nasa isang sitwasyon tayo na alam nating tayo ay inoobserbahan, no? 'Di ba? Marirealize niyo yan later on kapag kayo ay nag-practice teaching, lalong-lalo na kapag final demo. 'Di ba? Sa final demo, pinapractice pa ninyo yung delivery ng lesson. Bakit? Kasi merong um, tawag dyan, impact yung kaalaman na kayo ay inoobserbahan ng ibang tao. Lalong-lalo na kapag alam ninyo na ini-evaluate ang performance nyo. Okay? So, the same is true with teachers, no? When the dean, for example, or even the program chair enters the classroom for evaluation purposes, no, what do you see? Perhaps you could see teachers um, um, being more motivated to teach, no, compared to usual ordinary days na walang observer, no? So dito papasok, katulad ng sinasabi ko, yung concept ng Pygmalion effect, no, in relation to social facilitation. So ganun din po sa sports and exercise, 'di ba? Kapag alam mong kasama sa audience na manonood sa iyo yung special someone mo, pakitang gilas ka rin eh, 'di ba? So ganun po yung concept ng social facilitation. Now, there are two types of social facilitation. We have your co-action effects and your audience effect. So, nabanggit ko kanina yung audience effect. Ano ba yung audience effect? From the word itself, audience, no? So that if in the audience, no, there are people close to you or even not so close to you, pero you know that this person is evaluating your performance, no? Tendencies are what? You provide and improve performance, no? I mean, you show a better performance. You make it sure that you're doing good or that you're doing better or that you give your best, no, in front of the audience, no? So um kapag kaya nga laging kung napapansin, actually this had been my observation, no, the dean would always tell us, oh, manood tayo ng ganito, no, mag-cheer tayo sa ganito kapag may mga activities or sports activities na meron tayo sa college. Bakit? Kasi doon papasok yung audience effect na sinasabi natin, no? Kahit sa socio-cultural yan, di ba? Um, meron pa bang mga contested activities na kasama sa criterion ang audience impact, 'di ba? So ibig sabihin kahit yung cheer ng audience, yung nays and boost ng audience, no? Ay meron at merong kinalaman. Meron at merong magagawa sa ating performance. That's audience effect. Okay? Yung co-action effect naman, siguro dito papasok yung social facilitation theory ni Triplett, no? Kasi when we do something, no? When for example, um, we are expected to carry out a task, no? Um, we do the task, we are more, we are inclined to have a better or an improved performance on the task if there are people who would do the task with us. Okay? So, ang example nito is if you are working no in office with coworkers, you are more motivated and more inspired to work when you have companions, no? Rather than when you do the work solitarily, no? When you exercise in a fitness gym, di ba mas ganado ka kapag meron kang mga kasamang nag-exercise din rather than when you exercise alone. So, katulad din nung experiment ni Triplet na mas ganado yung cyclist kapag meron siyang kakompete or kapag meron siyang kasamang mag-cycle. Okay? Now, in addition, social facilitation is thought to have three factors. No? So what are these? We have psychological, cognitive, and affective factors. Physiological. No? Physiological, cognitive, and affective factors. So what are physiological factors? No? From the word itself, physiology, it has to do with the body. No? So what happens when arousal is low, 'di ba? Wala tayong energy. Kung pwede ay ayaw nating kumilos, no? Pero kapag high ang arousal level, alert, awake ang ating system. We have kung yung sinasabi nila na parang uh, escalating level or elevating level of energy or arousal. No? And it is when arousal level is its optimum or is it's when when it is when arousal level which is at its optimum that we that we tend to perform better, no? Kasi babalikan ninyo yung mga theories on arousal, no? And yung um inverted U theory, no? Sinasabi niya na meron lang optimum level of arousal. Okay? So, sabi dito the higher uh, a higher arousal level and drive to perform that results from your physiological arousal in a situation involving social facilitation. Sinasabi niya na mas tumataas daw ang ating physiological arousal kapag meron tayong kakompete or kapag merong ibang taong nag-o-observe sa atin or kapag merong taong kasama nating gawin ang isang task. Okay? Like exercise, for example. Okay? Cognitive factors, no? This refers to the role of attention and distraction in social facilitation. So, an example, having people watch you do something might make you feel more focused or it could be a distraction for you. So, it depends upon how you interpret the presence of others. If ikaw yung tipo ng tao na you are used of what? If you are used of being observed, nasanay ka na inoobserbahan ka ng iba, nasanay ka na ginagawa mo ang mga bagay-bagay, ang mga task, for example, kasamang iba. So, kumbaga parang ikaw yung tipo ng tao na extrovert ba, mas nasasatisfy ka kapag merong presence of others. So, ibig sabihin, mas prefer mo na merong iba na nag-observe sa'yo or merong ibang tumutulong sa'yo gawin yung task na yon. It's when you are in this situation that you perform better or that you have an improved performance. Okay? Um, Opposite to that or on the contrary, kapag hindi ka naman nasanay na inoobserbahan ka, kapag nasanay ka na or kapag mas prefer mong gawin ang bagay-bagay ng ikaw lang, syempre kapag merong iba, nadidistract ka. And hence, distraction is equal to what? Low performance, no? Or disastrous performance. Okay? Then we also have affective factors, no? So you know what it meant by affective component. So this talks of anxiety, self-presentation, no, which influence social facilitation. Meaning to say, um, yung impression management natin, no? Um, these are factors that would make us uh, agree or kumbaga parang gusto mo ba ng presensya ng iba, no? Hindi ba matitrigger ang anxiety level mo? Or baka naman, ikaw yung tipo ng tao na mataas ang impression management, mas gusto mo yung presence ng iba. Okay? So that's affective factors. Now, in terms of social facilitation, there are theories, no? So you have here activation theory. This is proposed by Zhang. Okay? What does it mean by, or what do the activation theory propose? Okay? Okay, so what do the activation theory proposes in terms of social facilitation? It explains that social facilitation is the result of arousal that is triggered by the presence of others. Kumbaga, na-activate tayo from the word itself, activation, no? So we are being activated by the perceived evaluation of others. So that when others are there or present when we do the task, no? Para bang na-stimulate tayo, meron tayong kaalaman na, ino-observe niya ako, ini-evaluate niya ako. So kapag halimbawa sa training session, nandyan ang coach, di ba? I-try ninyong i-compare ang performance nyo for your training sessions kapag meron ang coach versus kapag wala ang coach. Hindi ba? Mas ganado kayong mag-train kapag merong coach. So ganun ang frame of mind natin. Therefore, kapag kayo naging coach, you always have to make it sure that you are also present. No? Your presence is highly needed, no? Because aside from you are ensuring the safety of your coaches, you are at the same time being there, motivating them. No? So itong activation theory na ang nagsasabi na, oy, kailangan ang presensya. Okay, so another theory is the alertness hypothesis theory. So this is related to the activation theory, no, which proposes that you become more alert when you have observers and therefore perform better. No? From the word itself, alert, no, you become more alert when others are there, di ba? Doon na lang sa teaching demonstration kapag merong ibang tao or kapag merong evaluators, na-alerto o na-aalarma tayo. Kaya ginagawa natin yung best natin. So, katulad ng nabanggit ko, ano ang input nito sa inyo? Alalahanin nyo, kapag kayo naging coach, dapat lagi kayong nandyan. Yung presensya nyo ay kailangan dahil itong mga theories na to mismo ang nagsasabi na, oh, kapag ikaw ay nandyan, yung coaching mo ay mas alert, mas motivated na mag-train. Okay? So, tingnan nyo, ano ba kasi ang nangyayari sa actual setting? Kapag ba may mga trainings, ang mga coaches ba ay nandyan? O, syempre, kayo ang nakakaalam niyan. Okay. Then we also have evaluation, apprehension, hypothesis. What about this, no? So, evaluation approach, no? it posits that it is the evaluation of others that matters rather than just their mere presence. So ibig sabihin, it's not that you are only present, no? Meaning to say, dapat mag-input din kayo, no? Kapag halimbawa nag-observe kayo during the training program, dapat meron ding input sa kung ano ang na-observe nyo so that in relation to the evaluation apprehension hypothesis, no, you look into um, not only the presence but again, no, the input that the coach may have towards his or her observations during the training sessions. Okay? Kasi sabi dito, hindi lang daw yung presence ang importante, ang nagmamatter, kundi ang evaluation, no? Yung sabi nga dito, it's the evaluation approach. It's the remarks that you give based on your observation of how the athlete performed during the training sessions. Okay? Then we also have the self-presentation theory. No? It asserts that people are motivated to make good impressions with others and maintain a positive self-image. So dito papasok yung binabanggit ko kanina na impression management. No? Alam nyo ba, may mga psychological test na mini-measure ang impression management. Ano ba yung impression management, ma'am? Kapag mataas ang faking, 'di ba? May mga ganon. We do faking good and faking bad, no? Ano yung faking good, ma'am? Yung self-presentation mo, you wanted to show a positive self-image. Kaya ito yung behavior na pinapakita mo, no? Pero meron din yung faking bad, no? Like hindi ka naman ganon pero gusto mong ah ang presentation mo ay yung ang mag-perpetuate ay yung bad self-image mo. Kaya you alter your behavior. No? Either way, it's not healthy. No? Impression management, high impression management, um, it's not psychologically healthy because you are faking. Faking good at faking bad is still faking. Di ba? So in other words, your performance will only improve when you feel like the audience is evaluating you. Okay? So, the teacher and the community. Yes, ma'am. So in other words, as I mentioned, your performance will only improve when you feel like the audience is evaluating you. Bakit? Again, in relation to evaluation apprehension hypothesis, no? To which we wanted to display or to show good impressions with others. Then we also have social orientation theory. This theory asserts that people with a positive orientation to social situations will experience social facilitation, whereas those with a negative orientation will experience impairment. Okay, so it's either you um, have positive interpretation of the social situation. Or perhaps when there are um, uh, positive experiences no that would go along with social facilitation. Okay, so syempre kapag positibo ang karanasan sa pakikisalamuha sa iba, no, um, mas gugustuhin mo natural, no, um, to interact with others. Pero kapag meron kang mga negative experiences, no, definitely when you 'di ba ganun naman kapag halimbawa sa isang tao kapag ang encounter mo sa taong yan ay positibo, natural, gustong-gusto mong makisalamuha sa taong yan. Pero kapag negatibo naman, kung pwede lang iwasan mo yung taong yan, 'di ba? So um paano na lang kapag teammate mo yan, kapag negatibo ang karanasang meron ka sa teammate mo o mismo sa coach mo. So what will you do? So sabi nga dyan, there would be corresponding impairments, no? Depending on the social orientation you have. And then we also have the feedback loop model. It proposes that when being observed by others, you become more aware of yourself, and that this state makes you more aware of the differences between how you want to behave and how you actually behave. No? So, yung mere evaluation of others, the presence of others, which presupposes evaluation, um, dito, ito daw ay isang form of feedback para ikaw ay mapagpasyahan mo sa kung paano ka dapat mag-behave versus sa actual na behavior mo. So, kumbaga, meron tayong tinatawag na ideal and real. Diba? So, how you wanted to behave, which talks of the ideal behavior, and how you actually behave, which talks of the real behavior. Okay? So, an example daw is uh, working more diligently on a task when others are watching because you become more sensitive to mistakes you would normally make. Oh? So, I think this is this is common to us, no? Like, especially when we know that we are being evaluated, no? This for us appears to be a feedback that, hey, I have to watch how I behave, or I have to think about how I have to do the task, or my approach in doing the task, no? So, mas nagiging diligent tayo because of the thought that we are being watched. Okay? And then we also have the capacity model, which refers to the idea that you have a limited capacity in terms of your working memory. Okay? And that influences how tasks are affected. Those that require less working memory are enhanced, while those that require more working memory are done more poorly. So it depends upon the complexity of the task. Irrespective of whether or not there are people who are watching or evaluating you, if the task involved, if the task involved is an easy task, dahil it require less working memory, sabi dito ay ano, mas capable daw tayo of doing it compared to task na 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 komplikado or mahirap, no? Dahil it requires more working memory, these are the tasks daw that are done poorly. Okay? So, now we move on to leadership and team cohesion in sports. No? The concept of team cohesion refers to a dynamic process which is reflected in the tendency for a group to stick together and remain united in the pursuit of its instrumental objectives and or for the satisfaction of member affective needs. Okay? So I wanted to underscore that it is a process. Therefore, kapag sinabing teamwork, team cohesion, that is a result of what? Of a tedious or a long process. Hindi ano yan, hindi um, overnight, cannot be done overnight, no? So, ang teamwork ay pinagsisikapang ma-achieve ng bawat membro ng grupo, no? And it's a dynamic process. Ibig sabihin, may mga times natural lang naman, no? Depende sa dynamics ng team members, no? Natural lang naman na may mga pagkakataon na hindi kayo nagkakaunawa ang mga miyembro ng team, and therefore naapektuhan ba kaya yung performance nyo as a team, no? Pero um, working towards team cohesion, how do you patch up differences between and amongst team members so that you are moving, um, that all of you are moving on or towards the same direction. Okay? Kasi sabi dito, tendency for a group to stick together. Okay? While there may be differences, because definitely there will be differences. Magkakaiba kayo ng pamilyang kinalakhan, magkakaiba kayo ng disposisyon, ng thoughts, even personality, but it's your willingness to stick together, to work together, to remain united, uh, in working together towards the attainment of your objectives. That's team cohesion. So it is essentially how well a team works together and is crucial for a sports team to be successful. Okay? So it's not only for team sports but even for individual sports, especially the dynamics between the coach and the coaching in individual sports, no? So now, in terms of team cohesion, there are two types. We have task cohesion and social cohesion. So, task cohesion is when a coach shares a set goal or objective with their team with a success criteria. Members of the group work together with unity to achieve a common team goal. So, dapat klaro kung ano ang gusto nyong mangyari sa team ninyo o kung or individually kung anong gusto mong mangyari, no? So, who usually does this or has this responsibility? It's the coach or the team captain, for example, in a team sports, no? So, ang pinaka-emphasis dyan is yung task. Ano ang dapat nyong ma-achieve at paano nyo yun gagawin as a team. Then we have social cohesion. It is how well a team interacts, no? The extent to which the members of the team like and interact with each other is known as social cohesion. So this is more of your group dynamics, more of how each of the team members relate with one another. Okay? So in a social cohesion, teammates focus more on being socially bonded and try to gain chemistry. Kasi at the end of the day, kapag nasa team sports ka, hindi lang naman yung pagkapanalo ang importante. Ang importante din ay yung na-create mong relationship with your other team members, no? So, at the end of the day ba, meron din bang um, tawag dyan, bonding, no? Social bond na naganap. Okay? Hindi yung klase ng bonding na magtsuktsakan kayong magkakatim ha. No? So it's a bond na para bang um, in spite and despite of ups and downs, most probably you're still there, no, as members of the team. Okay? So both operate independently of each other, I mean task and social cohesion, and it is important for sports coaches to be aware that these can vary. So magkakaiba. Depende sa kung ano ang importante sa inyo. Kung ang importante ay yung laging manalo, then perhaps ang pinaka-emphasis nyo ay task cohesion. Pero kung ang importante din sa inyo ay yung kung ano ang dulot nito sa inyong personal or social development, then more likely social cohesion ang isa din sa mga focus nyo. So a team who are winning trophies have good task cohesion. However, if they argue and do not like each other, then they have low social cohesion. 'Di ba? You choose task versus relationship. Parang ganun yun eh. Now, we also have the concept. Okay. So when is team cohesion useful? So it is useful because definitely or undeniably, okay, when there is team cohesion or when there is teamwork, there is both an improved performance and motivation, no, on the part of the team. So if a team work well together, then this improves their team cohesion and in turn improves their performance. And when there is an improved performance and motivation, then there is an improved personal satisfaction. So um, napakasimple namang ideya niyan, no? Kahit na sinong hindi sports person, maintindihan yan. Okay? Now, meron tayong tinatawag na stages of team cohesion. Ang team cohesion ba ay agad-agad nakakamit? Sabi natin hindi. Hindi siya overnight. It cannot be achieved overnight kasi meron siyang proseso. No? Sabi nga natin, it's a dynamic process. Ano ba yung proseso? No? There are four processes that are involved based on Tachman's theory. No? So first is forming. Okay, forming. So um, when a new team is formed, no? So alalahanin nyo, nung kayo pa lang ay nabubuo na team, kung ikaw man ay nasa team sports o kung ikaw ay nasa sociocultural at nasa dance, no? So group of dancers for example, or even singers, no? So when a new team is formed, individuals will be unsure of the team's purpose. Natural, hindi nyo alam para saan ba to. Siguro meron kayong idea pero hindi nyo alam ang detail. How they fit in and whether they'll work well with one another. Okay? They may be anxious, curious, or excited to get going. Hindi ko alam kung ang mga to ay naranasan ninyo, but definitely hindi ba kapag bagong fino-form ang group, meron yung curiosity. Sino kaya tong mga members ng group? Gusto kong makilala sila. Okay? Meron din bang anxiety? Makakapag-fit in kaya ako? Matatanggap kaya nila ako? Makakaband ko kaya sila? So may mga ganong katanungan. May curiosity, pero merong excitement at meron ding anxiety. Storming is when members start to push against the established boundaries. Conflict or friction can also arise between team members as their true characters and their preferred ways of working surface and clash with other people's. So dito nagkakaroon na ng kaalaman ang bawat isa sa ugali ng bawat isa. Okay? Meron nang naset na leader. No, kasi sa forming pa lang, ini-establish na kung sino ang magli-lead ng team. Okay? And hence, when there are conflicts, then who mediates? It's the leader actually. Kapag merong mga hindi pagkakaunawaan, ang nagre-referee ay yung leader. Sa storming, nangyayari yan, no? Kasi nagkakaroon na tayo ng impression ng kung anong klaseng tao ang mga kasama natin. So, makikita ninyo, si ganito backstabber o si ganito wala namang ginagawa pero credit grabber. So yung dynamics ng bawat isa na establish na diyan sa storming stage. Okay? Then we also have norming stage. Members start to resolve their differences, appreciate one another's strengths, and respect leaders' authority. Now that they know one another better, team members will feel more comfortable asking for help and offering constructive feedback. So dito, siguro sa tagal na ng pagkakakilala ninyo, natanggap na ninyo ang mga hindi kagandahang nakikita nyo sa mga kasama ninyo. At ini-embrace nyo na yung idea na o si ganito, siya yung leader namin. So whenever we have concerns, siya usually yung uh, um, um, makakatulong sa amin. So there is already an acceptance and respect of the authority of the leader. And even between and among members of the group, no, you start patching up differences, resolving your conflicts with one another. And there is a stronger commitment to the goals of the team. So, ang importante na sa inyo ay hindi yung kung sino ah, ang nabibigyan ng credit, kundi yung thought na, okay, alam ko kung ano ang dapat kong gawin, alam kong meron akong definite role sa grupong ito, at yun ang gagawin ko dahil gusto kong makamit ng grupo yung kung ano ang dapat niyang makamit na objective. So, nandito po yun sa norming stage. And then, performing is when the team is in flow and performing to its full potential. With hard work and structured processes, the team is likely to achieve its goals efficiently. So dito, kampante na yung leader na mag-delegate at mag-oversee lang. So hindi na kailangan sabihan si ganito o ito yung bakit wala na naman siya ganito. Wala nang ganun. Kasi nasa estado na kayo na talagang kayo ay tulong-tulong sa pagkamit ng goals ng grupo. Okay? So, I think that's on the uh, sociology of sports and exercise. Now, siguro ano lang, briefly lang, I just wanted to share on the psychobiology of sports, no? So, nabanggit kasi natin kanina yung on injury management, no? So, wala kasi tayong the last time kasi na, okay. So, when we talk about psychobiology, this explores no, the intersection of psychological factors and the physiological responses during physical activity like exercise and sports participation. So, it examines how mental states such as motivation, anxiety, and focus influence athletic performance and the physical health of athletes. Okay? So, pare-pareho lang din yung mga na-share natin kasi isa rin sa mga tinitingnang factors ay yung social influences, no? Like social support, no? Meron bang kinalaman ang social support sa motivation, no? Meron bang kinalaman ang um, social support sa overall experience nyo on sports or even in exercise participation. Okay? So, ayun yung mga may kinalaman sa psychobiology of sports. Okay? So, I think that's the end of the slide. I hope, oh my I don't know if the screen was shared to you, but anyway, I hope you were able to, just in case, kasi na-post ko yung screen sharing, habang nakikinig na lang kayo dito sa lecture, balikan na lang ninyo yung specific na slide habang ako ay nagdi-discuss. Kasi I'm not so sure if na-screen share ko o hindi. Medyo nandito kasi ako sa faculty room nagre-record at medyo hindi ko kontrolado ang ingay. Kaya nagpo-pause ako kanina pero hindi ko pala siya na-i-resume. So anyway, ang audio naman ay okay. Siguro habang nakikinig na lang kayo, balikan ninyo yung sinend kong PowerPoint para ma-compare ninyo yung dinidiscuss ko vis-a-vis dito sa PowerPoint. Okay? So I think that's it. Thank you for for watching the video up to this point. Okay? We will do a wrap up anyway of this when we have the face-to-face. So thank you. Bye-bye.